all the buildings were still intact during this time. They also added wooden half during the First World War. We estimate about 5,500 men were coming of the Irish Revolutionary period from 1919 until 1924. Quite a lot of fighting takes place. So Ireland, however, you have the outbreak of the Irish Civil War. With the swear an oath of allegiance and so on. So the more staunch Republican, it's a stepping stone to full independence of Britain. So a bit of a rebellious reputation. So they held this here as they were going, and basically that's what happened with Charles Horton. You've seen going around, they packed the buildings with straw and temperature, and it became very derelict. And in fact, it was empty living here in the early 70s, but it was the opposite end of the castle. Maybe have flashbacks on that. But, so it works, which is the government body responsible for all public and government was done in the 90s. So you have the old gatehouse and guardhouse up to my left, detention cells for the soldiers. They'll be kept just behind me. You have the main exhibition centre. This is an interesting upstairs and round-headed on the ground floor. You have the original just behind. Interestingly enough, that it's
but this fort and some of the entrances and tile roofs. Most of that. From the front side, you can't tell that because it slopes down to the sea.
Now, in terms of your typical soldier, a young lad will join up, often with some of his friends. On average, 2/3 of Irish recruits were farm labourers. If you had harvests, there'd be a big rush to join the army. That's the way it went. Now, there's a 1 in 12 chance token for joining up. You'd also get some bounty money. You stayed the course, join a regiment. On average, they would have served in their late 30s, maybe around 40, and often did labour and stuff like that. You won't in 1809 in Quebec, because his father is a soldier. Some of the rooms further up in the fort, which we visited earlier, corner, in the other corner there's an overnight urinal. Really a young man's game. The army preferred single men, no separate married quarters. So you have to share the same pokey from the mid 1800s. They're moving away from above the barracks, or the small brick building. There was a whole new system. Water was piped from outside and dug around the barracks. It wasn't uncommon to have officers starting, sometimes even more than that. We had Colonel Selwyn, the age at which he had got his first commission. He was he was joking aside, but eventually and so on. Now, there wasn't always much to do. Land and rest, area, small. We have examples like Captain Ross Lewin. He had many picnic parks, so it was very pleasant indeed. Which is the building just literally behind me here. And they were waiting to be shipped almost completely in our constitution and our pocket. So in 1774, whereby one regiment tried to in Ireland as well, for his part in putting down the 1798 rebellion, very famous name of course, and he really established his reputation his day. Perhaps his most famous victory being the Battle of Blenheim, the gift of Blenheim Palace, which you can still visit today in Oxfordshire of more recent fame as well. So they're just some of the better known people.
Explain a little bit more. Just go ahead and get you a kind of a higher angle. There's quarters, which are closer to the sea. The stone was all quarried locally, just on the hillside up above. So, but it was a defeat from the land side and not the. Okay, we'll continue. This would have been a 3-story. You can see. And all the supports here on the exterior.
So it is that bit more vulnerable to attack now. And in fact, Oxford was besieged from the hills and take of all the fencing and everything else. Now this is effectively a second is replaced by his daughter Mary, and his son is from England. He goes over to France into temporary exile, but so James comes from France, actually with lands, his own Dutch troops, and quite a lot of hired soldiers, very multinational force really. In Ireland, it was kind of a civil war to English and Scottish Protestant settlers are supporting them. But in September 1690, Cork City to the east of the Bank side. So if you can picture the scene, early October, with trenches on the hills here, you have approximately 900 of James's army inside. After 3.5, and as they're planning their final assault, takes over the fort and has control then of Kinsale. History. So some people say it as a Cork is one of the bigger natural harbours in the world, so as ships are getting just behind you here, it's a very typical, very square, this with a little drill area in the middle here as well. And as someone asked earlier of the officers and soldiers, and talk a bit about the later history. If you have questions as we go along, please be sure to ask. And we're just here at the moment on the orange circle. It's a good example of a star fort or bastion here. You have the curtain walls, which are the straight part, and there are two down by the sea. To my left, just over here. This built in the 70s, early 1680s. Now you fight in the 1800s, and there are a couple of advantages to have any blind spots in your defences. You can bring it outside. You see there's a zigzag area there. The other thing you may have noticed as we're coming into the fort today, its walls are actually lowered down. Now, if you have set a building up your defences, you actually lower them down. Stone and earth or dirt in the middle. So stone wall. So that was your very classic starship. Some of the openings are embrasures for cannon. So you have two banks of cannon all along the seafront. The closer ports in the early 17th century and 1601. The third century. The battle itself then was on the far side of the top. It showed that this was a strategic harbour. So after that battle, 5 years. One reason being that you can see the harbour here. But you can also see the original plan was to build two parts in the battle back in the 1600s.
You can see the old remains of the moat. Easily accessible, and even in a wheelchair or walker, just taking a stroll. Wells. Yours for seniors and 3 for child. We'll continue on just a minute. Okay, we're here just outside Kinsale. This is Charles. Right over, if you look over in the far horizon, we're right out to the Atlantic. Beautiful countryside.
Just be mindful of the cobbles.
Okay, just thought I'd so again, we're here on Easter Sunday, so a lot of stores. Barrett Butchers, local craft butchers. Which is Jim Edwards. So
Central.
probably not. Probably masses over. And then there may be in the party. Streets. It's a Methodist church. Ireland, just a small things to notice. Lots of stores, as you'd kind of expect. Roaming around here. So small, turned into water closets, and to buy a drink or sanitary. But you can't. You go in and use them unless you. Just give you a little tour of the town here. She named the breed, one familiar with it. Gave away free colorful paint for the people to paint their houses.
the pier. So just as we're coming down into Kinsale now, and you've got
Kinsale
Centra
Island.
here on the right also, that's for the lovely,
they
if anybody
roam
wants to
around, take
have a
a
browse in
shop.
there, they've some lovely, just
Below.
looking straight ahead, you've got an here on the left, porta cabins there, they're the restrooms here on the right.
It's all tidal water, so
This parking area. Storage will pick everybody up again at 3 o'clock. Okay. Built specifically to resist cannon attack. Looking over from Charles Fort, you've got James Fort. You in this lovely small town of Kinsale. See some lovely GA playing fields over there to the right. And again a lovely walkway, this lovely amenity for people who almost into the certainly, and again you can see the lovely swans nestling on the bank, some heron, all there on the right. Easter Sunday.
heading to Kinsale.
On the left you can see all those underneath the road, because the cattle underneath the road, so you're just coming on the left there, thing by the farmer to do there. Other equine can be divided into 3: Coolmore Stud, up the Equestrian Club, and then of course horse racing, different meeting points, disposable cover that's put on to any of the crops that have been sown there now, and that will Wild Atlantic Way, which is this fabulous route that, and explore the lovely GA pitch. And some electric cars, so big incentive for lovely new nursing home just there in Riverstick, raising some cattle, poultry farm. It's shocking there now, oh gosh, okay. Right upside down. So at least it come down.
Views of the hillside with all the dairy cows.
So people helping out here, giving. So now we're back on our way again. Countryside, you can see all of the way the
Right-hand
fields
drive
are laid
cars.
out, and all of